Sure, right? Sure. But I do a ritual every time I come home and I'm going to walk into the house with the kids, right? I do a ritual, and the ritual is I decide what kind of father or what kind of husband I'm going to show up as when I open the door. Doesn't matter what my day was. Doesn't matter that I may have dealt with all kinds of frustrations. That doesn't matter. Who I say I am is who's going to walk through that door, and who's going to walk through that door is the man they most need. And so I have a ritual that I go through. I acknowledge whatever, our feelings, our emotions are the greatest driver to what kind of actions you're going to take. You guys, does that track? Right? If you're feeling shitty, are you going to have shitty actions? Yes or no? If you're feeling like you're on fire, how energetic, what's your level of activity going to be? Much greater, right? Your feelings drive emotion. And most of us have it like we have no control over our emotions. Is that true? It's not. What drives our emotions? What we think about, what we entertain, right? Or what we hold space for in our thoughts. Now, you can't necessarily control your thoughts, your initial thoughts, but can you interrupt the pattern, right? So often when I'm driving home, I'm thinking about my to-do list that I didn't get to most of throughout the day. And so as I'm driving home, I might be, what feelings might I be experiencing? Stress, what's another one? Anxiety, frustration, right? Anticipation for now what I need to do tomorrow, right? Is that all tracking? I'm sure none of you guys experience that, so this is probably all really fascinating to you. Now, if I walk through the door carrying that feeling of stress, anxiety, frustration, anticipation for tomorrow, how present am I actually going to be for my wife and my daughters? What actions am I going to take? You guys remember your first apartment? If it was like mine's kind of a shitty apartment, when you flipped on the lights, things might scurry, right? If I walk in a shitty mental and emotional state, my kids scatter. I don't even have to say a word. Have you guys experienced that? You ever come home frustrated, right? So what I do is I think about, now this used to be a process that would take me 5 or 10 minutes. I would always start it as I'm entering into the neighborhood. And the process is I acknowledge what's so. Can I change the fact that I had an expectation of accomplishing this today, but this is what I got done? Can I change that? No. So I just acknowledge that. This is what I got done. This is what I didn't get done. And then if I do this in plenty of time, driving up my neighborhood, up the hill to my neighborhood, if I've got plenty of time, then I'll think about, would I change anything, right? Oftentimes, you'll see me back here, and I'll spend a few minutes with you guys and talk about what you're dealing with, what you're going through, what you're grappling with, that kind of thing. And sometimes that's a 30-second conversation, and sometimes that's an hour and a half, right? And so as I'm driving home, I'll think about, what did I do today? And am I okay with that? In other words, I always prioritize what tasks I'm going to attack for the day based on the 80-20 rule, right? The 20% of items that are going to give me the 80% most momentum. And that's how I prioritize what I work on. Now, in that moment as I'm driving home, I'll go, what pulled me away from that? Well, I had a conversation with Emily, right? I had a conversation with Elizabeth. And those were good, those were positive, those were conversations that may, for them, contribute to them moving forward or taking the next step. For me, that's the most valuable role that I play here. So if I didn't get to items 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on my list, so be it, right? You guys tracking? If you have a big life, you're going to have things in your life that are a little bit messy. I shared with the group that was here yesterday. I bought a fifth wheel last year. I still haven't registered it, right? And in July, she's got me wanting to move this semi-truck of a thing to Northern Quest, right? Maybe I'll get it registered in between now and then. Maybe I won't. But I'm not going to let it consume emotional space. Oh, God, I gotta do that. Look, I will move it on July, whatever the concert is, to go stay out of the campgrounds, right? I will move the thing. If I get pulled over and I don't have it registered, it's an $180 ticket. Am I going to let $180 ruin my physiology? No. Will I get to it before then? Maybe. My neighbor, who's a state patrol, drives him absolutely bonkers. He just cannot fathom why I would risk a $180 ticket, right? But here's my point. I'm responsible for how I show up to my loved ones in my life. And so I'll think about what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to serve so many people in my life, whether it's at the office, whether it's at home, whether it's within our neighborhood, within our community. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that. It's such a, I'm going to get goosebumps. It's such an extraordinary, exquisite, and fulfilling way to live my life. And then I think about what I'm grateful for with respect to my relationship with my daughters. If I walk in a grateful state, they want to know everything about my day. They ask me about my day. They ask me about my highs and lows. I have 3 teenage daughters. None of them are familiar with a stripper pole. I have so much to be grateful for. None of them are on drugs. You get what I'm saying? They're all finished school, not pregnant. I mean, I have so much to be grateful for, right? I think about that as I'm walking in the door. Would there be a difference between the person who walks in carrying all of that stress and anxiety and frustration in the door? Would there be a difference between that and the man that walks in the door grateful and really connected to who he wants to be for his family? What might the difference be?